I'm going to give you a challenge. I'm going to give each group 4 waves. Okay? And I want you to find, for example, the lowest pitched sound, the highest pitched sound, the softest sound, the loudest sound. If you find 2 waves that have the same amplitude, 2 waves that have the same frequency, okay? You can take a couple of minutes and you can answer those questions that are on the handout. And let me know if you have any questions, okay? I'll give you another set of waves right there. So take a look and see if you can find the differences in the answers to those questions. Of course, the scale is the same in all diagrams, as you can see. Any questions? You got it? Let's see. Why did you say that these two have the same frequency, A and B?
Because the same pattern, the same wave.
Okay. How would you determine if the frequency is higher or lower in one piece or the other?
I thought it could be because of the between each wave.
So, for example, how many crests? Okay, the top part of the wave. How many crests do you have in that interval? And how many crests do you have? Take a look. Okay. Finished? Yes. Let me take a look. How did you decide that C and B, that these two have the same frequency?
Because it's between 0.5 and 0.5. And this is more than 0.5.
Okay, so this is a bigger wave?
Yes.
This is a smaller wave?
Yes.
And these two waves are very similar? Not exactly though, right? Because this doesn't reach 0.5 and this exceeds 0.5.
It's right.
So amplitude, what is amplitude? Exactly. How big the wave is. So which one is actually a little bigger? That one, right. How about frequency? How have you decided they have the same frequency? Sorry?
We change the answer.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me now, what two waves have the same frequency?
This is it.
Okay. How would you decide that?
Because it's changing in
Sure.
yes, in a short time.
Okay, so the changes take place in a short time in both cases.
Yes.
If we wanted to be exact, maybe you can count how many crests you have in that same interval. How many crests? The top part of the wave. How many do you have in that interval? Are they the same? Do you have the same number of cycles? No. So they don't have the same frequency, right? Perhaps. Okay. So you will count and you will decide that they have the same.
Yes.
In fact, I think that these are many cycles, more cycles than in this case. So I'll just leave you 30 seconds to think about that again. Okay?
Okay.
But let's say, for example, there are not two waves with the same.
Of course. Maybe the answer is no. Okay? Have you changed any of your answers?
Yes.
Have you? Okay. We will talk about it now. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. This was the most difficult task. I know. Okay? It's tricky, but I want to make sure that you understand these properties. So, here we have our waves. Which one would you say has the largest amplitude? What is the biggest wave?
A.
A? Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, me too. Okay. How about the wave with the smallest amplitude?
D.
D. Yeah. It doesn't reach 0.5, okay? Good. How about frequency? What wave has the highest frequency?
B.
In B, there are many more cycles in the same period of time. How about the lowest frequency?
C.
C has less cycles. So tell me, what wave corresponds to the highest sound in pitch?
The highest sound.
The highest pitch.
A.
Be careful. When we talk about high pitch, are we talking about amplitude or frequency?
Frequency.
Frequency, okay? High pitch, low pitch. High pitch means
The
higher frequency. And what about the lowest pitch? The lowest pitch?
C.
C. So let's listen. Wave C. That's a low pitch sound. Wave A. A little bit higher. And wave B. The highest of all. Okay? What about the softest sound then? What wave produces the softest sound?
D.
D. Okay? Good. Are there two waves with the same frequency? Which ones?
A and D.
A and D. They have the same pitch. Okay? They have the same pitch. What is the difference? The amplitude. And therefore,
The pitch. No,
the pitch is the same because the frequency is the same. What changes?
The volume or
The volume, intensity, loudness. Okay? That's right. Okay? Clear?
Yes.
That was tricky, but I think that you managed. You were successful. Sorry. I just want to go on. Perfect. So I hope that by now you are able to discuss possible definitions of sound. Okay? We have talked about the need of an object vibrating and maybe a listener receiving those vibrations. Hopefully you have identified the relationship between objective and subjective properties of sound. What were objective properties? What were objective aspects we could measure in the waves?
The earth's the frequency.
The frequency, that's an objective property. And the amplitude, good. And they are related to subjective properties of sound. Frequency is related to pitch, which is subjective. High pitch and low pitch, okay? And amplitude is related to volume, loudness, intensity of the sound, okay? And hopefully also you have reflected upon the omnipresence of sound in your daily lives. You may have been already aware that sounds are surrounding us all the time. Okay, so we will finish today's lesson with a short reflection. Are you familiar with the French author Marcel Proust? Okay, he wrote this famous work called In Search of Lost Time, also called Remembrance of Things Past. And there's a very famous episode in this novel where he remembers that one day he was having a madeleine, he was having this cake dipped in tea. And when he tasted that madeleine, suddenly he started having memories from childhood. Okay, the taste of that madeleine suddenly evoked some memories. I don't know if that has happened to you at any time. What I want you to think about sounds, not pieces of music, okay? Sounds that you have heard at some point of your life that have suddenly made you remember an episode of your life, okay? I'm going to leave you a couple of minutes to think about that and to write down your reflection, okay? Let's see if you can remember a sound that has special significance, that has special meaning to you, that you attach particular episodes of your life to that particular sound. Okay?
For example, lo cambia.
It can be a word, for example. It's a sound.
Okay, it might be a word pronounced in a particular way, I don't know. Okay, take a minute and we might have some time to share some of those reflections and memories, if you want to.
Cambia de composer.
I would rather avoid thinking about musical works, okay? But if a musical composition comes to your mind, you can share it afterwards, okay? But let's think about sounds, not necessarily musical sounds. You can take a couple of minutes to write down your reflections.
Teacher, how do you say feel?
Let's look it up. I want to be able to- Okay. Like saltamontes, it says grasshopper. Ready? Okay. So I'm just going to read this out loud, and if anybody wants to share something afterwards, you're welcome to do so.
Wait.
But let me just anonymously,
Anonymous.
yeah.
Because I
this one?
wanted música.
It's okay, it's okay.
It's okay.
Don't worry, don't worry. Okay.
I don't know how to say it in English, so I put it in Spanish.
So, for example, a member of the class said, when I listened to the PlayStation beep, it reminds me of the day my parents bought me the PS3. Oh, the excitement of that day, attached to that beeping sound, marvelous beeping sound of the PlayStation. Also, the sound of the grasshopper reminds me of watching Studio Ghibli films with my mom. Okay. So those sounds trigger special memories. Good. We have the sound of the net after the ball hits her. Hits the net in the basketball field. Okay. And there's something musical here. Mozart's Requiem. It reminds me of the period in the conservatory, the time that I studied in the conservatory. Okay. The sound when I get into a dance class, the noise that the shoes make. Okay, immediately it's the moment of dance class. Dancing is a very important part of my life. I have engaged in since I was 8 years old. And when I get into a dance class, well, I have that sound of the shoes. And the last memory, when I heard, okay, this is a very traditional figure that sharpens your knives, okay? And you hear this, it's pretty musical actually, this whistling sound telling the people that I'm here if you need me to sharpen your utensils or knives. So it reminded me of morning breakfast at my grandpa's. A sunny morning in March, maybe. So, sound is very powerful, isn't it? You might just hear a very specific sound and it triggers memories, it makes us evoke particular episodes in our lives. Would any of you like to share any details before we finish this session? Anything you would like to share with the rest of the class?
I think it was Nacho's sport. Nacho's paper, the one who talked about the net in basketball, also remind me that when I'm in any court, basketball court, volleyball court, and I hear the shoes, the sound of shoes, it reminds me of when I was young and I was practicing my jump shot in basketball because it was
Right, right.
and it reminded me of that place.
Yeah. So you also share that memory in a pretty similar way.
And
right?
also this thing, me and my mom have this thing that is called synesthesia.
Synesthesia, yeah, almost same word, yeah.
And when we smell something, it reminds us of past times or of colors.
Okay.
When we smell, I don't know, a lemon,
Right.
the smell of lemon, it reminds us to green, for example. And this happens to me when I see the sunset. It reminds me of cookies,
Interesting.
of eating cookies.
Yeah, there's some link inside you, okay? Suddenly, one sense triggers another sense. That's interesting, isn't it? There's a lot being studied on synesthesia. I find it to be a very exciting topic. Okay, well, thank you very much for your participation. And next lesson, we will be covering musical ingredients. How do we combine all those different sounds with different parameters to create different ingredients in music, such as melody, rhythm, or harmony? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mhm.